right now we're in the financial crisis. What solutions can help fix the economy?
Well, deregulation is a main factor that caused the financial crisis. And when the Glass-Steagall Act was repealed, basically all regulation on banks was gone. And so I think the government really needs to regulate, and they've kind of started doing this with the Dodd-Frank Act. And this basically puts, excuse me, regulations back on banks. And yeah, it also regulates some non-bank financial institutions. So I think this is a really good idea, and they really need to implement this and just keep strong with it and make sure that the banks are following their rules. So just basically because banks control everyone's money, and I think that this is a really major responsibility, so they really need to keep them in check.
Okay, well, if you think regulation should be more aggressive, what restrictions should be implemented?
Well, I think that what the government should encourage or start trying to do is encourage the growth of more banks, which includes the formation of new banks and to help out existing banks. Because right now we have a variety of banks. We have so many, but the banks that we consider to be the top have the most power. They even though there's potential to be a lot of competition, but somehow these banks have been so successful that they have a lot of control over the financial sector. And I think that that the government should help the less powerful banks and the formation of new banks to kind of decrease this power.
Okay, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I mean, I agree there are some banks that are too big to fail. They are the more powerful ones, but I mean, how did they get this way? I mean, it was through a lot of hard work and prosperity, and I really don't think we can punish them for all this hard work and just trying to do their best.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. It like I wouldn't mind if I agree that they worked hard, and if they're spending this money wisely and well, I wouldn't have a problem. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking about this. But the problem is that, as I said, these top banks, they're too big to fail. So when they start getting to this risky business and they start making mistakes, you would think it only affects them, but it doesn't only affect them. It affects the whole nation. And for that reason, since it affects everyone and not just them, the government has to step in and stop that. It needs more regulation.
Oh, and you talking about giving more regulation on the banks, and Jerry talking about we should have more competition, and more regulation would make it difficult for neobank to form. How do you suppose we how do you suppose we counteract that?
Well, I actually don't think it would be any harder for new banks to form. All banks are going to be having the same kinds of safe loans. So really it's going to be like any other business offering the same product. They're just going to have to compete and advertise and make sure that their customers are happy. And so it really won't be any much harder for them.
And to add to that, but that's a great point. To add to that, with my argument is with this increased competition and this regulation, you're gonna have these businesses looking for profit, but in a safe way. In a business, basically what you're trying to do is find things that you can decrease their cost and make more profit off of them. But with this increased regulation and the encouragement of competition, that they're gonna have to worry about other banks or financial institutions being more successful than them. They're gonna find these ways to make profit, but with these regulations, they won't find. It's gonna be harder to find loopholes where they'll make profit and it's gonna hurt everyone. Of course, it's impossible to stop every loophole, but as these loopholes start presenting themselves, the leaders in the government will pass legislation to stop these loopholes, and we'll have our economy will be running.